Good evening and welcome to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting for Monday, January 14th, 2019. And everybody's here. That's a good way to start out the year. So we'll call the meeting to order. You all received the November minutes. The November minutes. Did you have any questions or concerns on those?
I motion to approve the minutes as printed.
I'll second.
Okay. Moving on to the staff reports, you got the recreation and senior monthly reports for November and December because we didn't meet in December, and also the year-end reports for recreation and senior programming. Did you have any questions on any of those?
No.
No? Okay. Just to run through some old business, as we mentioned before, the tot lot, the two pieces that we ordered are scheduled to be installed around the first week of May. I've talked with DPW this week a little bit because they're going to do the prep of the ground once the weather, I think, sounds like winter's actually hitting now, so
Right. Yeah.
after winter's over, they'll take care of that. The foul ball netting, what's happening with that is the Youth Baseball League met with Carter Crompton and looked at the quote that he gave us, and they felt that the netting didn't go far enough down the first base line to really do maximum protection. So he re-quoted it, and unfortunately, I did not bring that exact quote. But
Is it much different from the original one?
it's going to be about $11,600. As I said before, the athletic boosters agreed to kick in. The men's hardball league agreed to kick in. I met with Dave Pedora of Clawson Youth Baseball, Softball, and a representative from Dick's Sporting Goods in December, the end of December we met, and talked about a couple options with them. I think youth baseball is going to apply for a sponsorship and possibly a grant. Chances are pretty slim that we would get a grant from them for this project, but they could get some sponsorship money, probably about $1,000. So if they get that, that will go towards it. And then I will apply for the grant through the MMRMA, which is Michigan Municipal Risk Management, something. So I will apply for a grant through them as well. So hopefully we'll come up with a portion of the money through those means so we won't have to foot the whole bill for it. And I've reached out again to Mr. Crompton to see if we can get on his schedule. It's really something that has to be done. So I want to get on his schedule for the spring so we can get this taken care of. So I reached out to him last week. I've not heard back, so I'll probably send another email. He's pretty busy and a little bit difficult to get a hold of. So I will continue to follow up on that.
Do they collect monies to watch these games?
I don't think they do for baseball, softball, no.
No?
Do they sell anything? Do they have pop or popcorn or whatever that?
Concession?
I don't think that they do. The only time that they open the concession stand, from what I understand, and I could be wrong on this, is if they have multiple games going on, like if there's a track meet and softball and baseball. Really the only...
I remember there was an issue with, during the 4th of July, people that had paid to come into the park refused to pay because they were going to the ball game.
Right. They work that out now, though, with the 4th of July committee. Youth Baseball gives the 4th of July committee X amount of dollars so that their players and two parents can come in and not pay for those games. So they've
I
worked.
just wonder if they generated any money to help, pay for this netting that they need so badly because of the...
Well, youth baseball is going out for the money through Dick's Sporting Goods, yes. They're trying to get $1,000 through Dick's Sporting Goods to help towards it. The schools, they tell us they don't have any money for this, but the boosters will kick in some money for it as well.
Well, that's good.
By the time everything's taken into consideration, like all this maybe money, how much do we ourselves?
Well, the maximum grant we can get is 1/3 of the total cost. That's the maximum grant we can get from MMRMA. That's the grant I'm applying for. And then if we get $500 Boosters didn't give me an exact number. They said between 500 and 1,000. They had to see where their budget was. So let's say they only give us 500. The men's hardball league is willing to give us 500, so that's another 1,000. If we can get the sponsorship through Dick's Sporting Goods, that's 1,000. So we're talking about maybe 3, 4, 5. So again, it'll be a little more than half that we'll be coming up with. But I'm hoping we'll get half through fundraising or grants or different groups kicking in.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Any other questions on the foul ball netting?
No.
No.
Okay. Just to follow up, still, I've had no response from the skate park committee as from the letters that we sent out. So I don't know how you want me to proceed on that. Do we just let that go at this point? I
I
don't
think
know.
we can't. I think the reality is we can't, unfortunately. Like, it's not something that we can let go, because after this winter, there may be cracks that are going to need repaired. There's going to be ground that
Yeah.
needs repaired again, and I think we're going to have to go again. Either we ask the city or we ask someone else, but it is a conversation we are going to need to have, because once again, after the winter's over and there's cracks in it, we're going to need it redone again. That's money that we could be spending on other things.
Okay. So I guess how would you like me to proceed? Do you want me to try to contact via letter and email again now that the holidays are over and see if there's a time that we can meet with them?
I think so.
I think so. I
Try
think we
one
need
more
to
time.
keep going. Either
Yeah.
if we even ask the council or the city to help.
Okay.
Yeah, either that or talk to the city attorney and see what we can do.
Okay.
Maybe a letter from them.
Yeah.
Rather than from us would be more,
Yeah, just to sit down and chat. I mean, we're not,
Yeah,
it's
we're
nothing.
trying to do something
Awful,
nice,
yeah.
you know,
Because
it's,
the reality is that there will probably more than likely need to be work done at the, and as soon as we open it again, and then that's money we could be spending on other things.
Yeah.
I think it's just important for the city to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lump sum of money that we don't know how much it is, what it is. We gave money to put into it. Now, is there even a committee? Is there, it's just,
I
Yeah.
did receive an email from Christina Jabori, and she said she's no longer involved with the skate park committee. So as far as I know, there's just 2 people that are still from the original 4.
yeah, I think we need some answers there.
especially if that bank that's holding that money is.
Oh, the foundation,
The
yeah.
foundation is closing,
Yeah,
I'm sure they're going to have to move that money.
yeah.
They have to do some accounting somewhere.
Yeah, it's,
Okay. So we'll keep working on that.
No problem. Thank you, please.
Yeah.
Okay, the signage that we talked about that said, dogs can't be on the field unless it's a service dog. We did get those signs. We did get the one special for the tot lot that said dogs cannot run off leash inside the tot lot, and they have been installed at the park.
I like
Oh,
the sign
we'll have to
that's
go
on
check
the
'em out.
fence. It gives the whole listing and gives the, can't wear shorts and no bathing suits and,
Well, that sign's not there anymore.
yeah, yes it is.
Where?
I took a picture of it.
It's
by
not at the main
soccer-
entrance.
No, it's a soccer field.
Ah, that one never got taken down.
Maybe not.
Okay, that's good to know.
But it
Yeah.
said, it says dogs need to be on leash, you have to be, attendant, and there's an ordinance, it gives the ordinance
Yeah.
and the number and all that.
As
And we put
were-
that-
as
But I
we
mean,
were
it was like
watching
a
the dog in
sign.
the field.
Yeah,
It was a sign that was this big, and if anybody stood there and read through it all, they would know what it said. But I don't know how many people stand there and read through it all.
yeah. Yeah, I guess we can get that one down because we have our other one. I mean, we put the new ones up, and I know the bathing suit thing was not on the new ones. That was on the old sign. Okay, so that's that. Any questions on any of those kind of updates?
No.
Okay. Moving on to new business. Our park attendants came to us last year and asked if there was any way they could have a designated parking spot at the park because, they come and go. They have to go check Grant Park and Parkland, and then they come back. And if it's a really busy stay at the park, they have nowhere to park. So I talked with the interim city manager and with DPW and with Chief Sarvello, and we are working towards getting that done. There was an area, you know, where the Maverick storage buildings are, you know, the gate that you enter for 4th of July off the parking lot there. There were some areas there that were yellow hash marked because it used to be an entrance. It's no longer an entrance.
Right.
That went kind of between those buildings. So we're thinking that we can change that into a parking spot, and it will be for the park attendant, or I forget exactly how Matt Hodges talked about the wording, but it would be like for emergency personnel or park attendant type of thing, so.
You're going to put up a sign?
Official use only.
Well, yeah, maybe it was something
Yeah.
like that, yeah, park attendant or official use only. And then
good
I think
idea.
Scott was trying to figure out exactly how we had to do it legally so the police could enforce it.
Right.
You know, you can't just randomly stick a sign up and, you know, there has to be some, I guess, procedure behind it in order for it to be enforceable. So we're working on that, but it looks like it's gonna happen. So
Okay.
they didn't think it
No, well,
would be.
I mean, I guess City Park's really the only place that there's an issue. You wouldn't
But it'd be
have
nice to
have
just do it
anything.
in all the other parks, just in case,
Yeah.
just in case something is
We do
going
it
on,
for
Well,
like
there's
there's
really,
factor on, or.
I don't even know if the parking lot by Parkland belongs to the city. I think that might belong to that school. I would have to check on that. Parkland's such a weird park where it
There's
is,
two different car parks, I think one is one,
because
and then
part
the
of
other, the
it
bigger
belongs
one's
to
not.
the school and part, you know, it's kind of an imaginary line in there. But at least at Parkland, there's no major events going on there, you know, soccer maybe on a weekend, but not like anything like what happens up at the city park. And they do spend the majority of their time at the city park, but
Yeah,
I think, you know, we can look at that if it seems to be something that needs to be addressed at a later date. We'll try this out at the city park and,
yeah, and I guess, just talking to the park attendant, do you ever have any issues anywhere else?
right. And that's the only one they've brought to my attention is the city park.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions on that?
No.
No,
Okay, going down, park attendants. Last year, we had 3 park attendants that worked 8 hours a day at the park, except for like on the 4th of July, we had them work all day, you know, just different shifts. And then sometimes when we have like fall festival or special events, we'll have more than one working. 2 of the park attendants are coming back, 1 is not. So we will be looking to hire another park attendant. I've had a couple people express some interest. 1 picked up an application, but nothing's been turned back in yet. So hopefully we can get another park attendant. It's just easier with 3, especially with, if people want to take vacations or something like that. So I'll continue to work on getting that 3rd position filled. Any other questions on that?
No.
Okay. The meeting schedule for this year, we will be doing our second Monday of the month. I guess the one date we need to look at is and if we're going to do it, the summer beautification, which kind of falls into number E under new business, the beautification awards. We had kind of talked about, did we want to keep doing the summer beautification and the Christmas decorating one, or was it getting kind of old and stale? Did we want to try something different?
I think there's nothing wrong with suspending it until we can work out a different format or a different way of doing it, because we keep doing it and it's fine, and some people are really interested in it, but like if you have anything, please nominate, and it's the same houses, and there's nothing wrong with those gardens, there's nothing wrong with those houses, but we need to work out a different way to kind of make it more a bigger event for the city and where people want to get involved in.
Okay, and then we also, we did have somebody contact us and asked if we were going to do a Halloween decoration award. And I know that we have kind of tossed that idea around a little bit too, because so many people decorate for Halloween now. But I suppose if we're going to coast for a year and, work on coming up with something better, I don't know that that would be the year to throw in the holiday.
I wonder what kind of response we get from the public as far as, why didn't you do it this year? How many people would say, we were looking forward to it? And if you didn't get any response at all, then
Yeah.
if it stops, is it going to be something that will be missed?
So
What
the,
about every other year? One year do the summer one, the next year
And that would be-
Christmas one, and then
But
summer.
we have time, can we not just ask people for their opinion, what people want to do? Do
Yeah.
they want to do it by, so we do 1 year, and then we do the other another year, or do they want to do it yearly?
nobody will keep track of that. That would be, they'll deck it out for Christmas and it's not the year they
I
get.
know, because it seems it's a really good idea, and we've all been involved, and we've all done it, and it's a really nice thing to do, but the problem is, it seems to be that the city, a lot of
The residents aren't actually
aren't
doing,
really
aren't
interested in it, aren't
participating, other
excited
than
about
just
it.
decorating, yeah.
Or you get the same ones.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, maybe we could do, we've got another issue of the highlights going out in the spring. Maybe there's a way that we can put something in there regarding beautification awards. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, I think it's something we need to
It's
find,
in
is it
Yeah.
worth
Interest of
doing?
the public, people
Okay. So do you think that we should try that then, maybe something in the highlights, asking residents to contact
Yeah.
Parks and Rec and let us know what they think? Should we continue this? Should we change it? Is it
Yeah.
worth it? Type of thing.
That's a good idea. Then the residents have been consulted if they want to keep it, they
Yeah.
can keep it. Or even just to have their views of what they,
Have their input, yeah. Okay.
I like the Christmas ones because you can drive by and see it.
See them, yeah.
The problem with the
Yes.
summer one is drought.
The timing, that's always
timing
been our
is
issue.
always.
Yeah.
An issue.
because we always did in July, and it's just before the 4th of July, where usually people go on holiday, so you either catch it right and they're really nice, or you're like, ooh, that would have been nice, but,
Yeah, that one's always hard for us, I think, to
yeah.
judge and stuff.
So with that being said right now, at this point, then our meeting schedule will just be the second Monday of every
Yep.
month. Okay? All right.
Same time.
Same time, same
Same place.
station. Yeah. Okay, so we kind of took care of C and E, so we'll back up there to D, Memorandum of Understanding. In talking with the interim city manager, it was brought to my attention that technically, we have no agreement with youth baseball, youth soccer. We have nothing in writing. Everything we've always done in Clawson has kind of been just verbal, and in this day and age, you can't really do
No.
it that way.
Right.
So what he wants us to do is come up with a memorandum of understanding with the youth sports groups. Basically, they're going to come up with a list of things they need from the city, and we're going to come up with a list of things we need from those organizations in order to work together. We would allow them to use our fields at no cost in exchange for them running these programs, these recreational programs for the residents of our community. And so I'm working on that. I've contacted the 3 major sports groups, and all of them seem to be very positive, thinking, yeah, this is probably a good idea that we actually, put some of this in writing. So it's not a contract, it's just an
Kind
agreement.
of bylaws or to sports activities in different groups? Soccer, baseball?
Yeah, it would be the youth football, youth baseball, softball, and then youth soccer are the only programs that use our fields and our facilities at this point. So, yeah, it'd be coming up. So we're working on that. I'm working with the youth sports groups right now, and then I have to give it to the city manager, who will then discuss it with the city attorney, and then we'll come up with a final document that will go before council for approval.
Is it do's and don'ts, or I don't,
It's more what we're going to do for each other, okay? So the city would be providing field space for them to play their games. In exchange, they're going to handle registration, the finances, they're going to prove that they have liability insurance.
Those kinds
And they will, I also need to put in that they're going to financially help with any projects that directly affect the use of the field, the use of the fields that they use, which they do that now, but it's not in writing. So it's sort of a housekeeping thing. We just need to get things in writing these days instead of a verbal. And plus, you never know what happens. I mean, if something were to happen and I wasn't here anymore, or whoever was a president of these groups currently is not there anymore,
They have something done.
they have something
so
to
they
go
know.
back and
To-
look
yeah,
at.
to refer to.
Yeah, so
That's a good idea.
we'll be working on those and hopefully get them in place before their season start this spring. Any other questions on that?
No.
Okay. Upcoming events and programs. Basically, I told you we have the highlights going out again soon. The sports activities, they're already getting their schedules going and registration going for spring sports, so we'll have those things coming up as well. I had a meeting with the Oakland County FC, the Men's Football League. They are coming back again.
Nice.
And they're wanting very much to get involved in the community if there's any things we can have them or their players do.
Did they had pretty good turnouts?
I think they were pleased. They would certainly like to see it even more than that. You know, I think the impression I got from that meeting was, I mean, obviously this is their passion. And they, I mean, I think sort of idealistically, they would like the whole city to just be totally behind this team, you know, and that, you know, like the shops all close, the people leave their houses and go to the stadium because Oakland FC is playing. You know, that's
Yeah.
that's the idealized version. But they just want to be really involved in the community, and they do have a nice program. They did ask about selling alcohol, which we said no. It's just not something we've ever wanted to do at our parks.
Right.
And, you know, and the only reason people want to do that is because it brings in money.
Money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do they advertise?
They're on Facebook, and I don't know where all they advertise. They were,
I mean, if they wanted more people from Clawson
yeah,
to come to
they,
their games,
I think
do
we
they
talked.
post something in the paper? Or?
We talked about that at the meeting, and they were going to be contacting the schools too, because the schools put out that little newspaper now they just started, and they were going to look at putting some sort of an ad in like our quarterly newsletter.
I like, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and I suggested
People know what the schedule
contacting,
is and-
contacting the phys ed teachers at the elementary schools too. They might be able to, send some of their players in to do a little program for the elementary school phys ed classes, which if you can get the kids really excited and they know that player, I think that'll get more people to the games, things like
Or
that.
even
Give
maybe,
free tickets
you
away, the
know,
kids have to bring their parents.
There you
pay.
go.
or even the girls that do the cheering and stuff for the Mavericks and that, maybe they could even get them to come out a game or whatever and do
Yeah.
some chairs or.
Yeah, I mean, we discussed a lot of that stuff, so they're going to work on that. That's really, that's their, we gave them the suggestions we could come up with as far as ways to get word. And the problem too is, they've moved every year. They were in Rochester for a year, then they moved to Royal Oak for a year, and then they were in Clawson. So this is their second year in Clawson. So I think the longer you're in a place, word just gets out, and I think, hopefully this summer they would even have, and all the positive, I didn't really have any negative experiences with them. So, yeah, so they will be coming back. So they will be getting their schedule going here pretty soon as well. I don't think we've got our daddy-daughter dance coming up February.
There's still tickets available?
There are still tickets available. We're trying only one dance this year. Last year, we've typically had two dances, but last year we didn't sell out of either one, so we condensed it to one, and we'll see what happens. We're having a mother-son event in March. It's a jungle-themed evening, and we have a man coming in that has a lot of animals and things. He brings them in for the kids to see, so that should be fun. We will be doing a bunny brunch again this year, a little bit different than last year. I think it'll be a little more entertaining, so that'll be happening in April. And then, of course, there'll be the the Easter egg hunt at the city park that Youth Assistance does. So all that information will be in the highlights as we get
Right.
it more in detail. But that's everything I have, unless you guys have anything that you want to bring up or discuss, or,
No.
You know, I had, I drive down by the park, and I've noticed how many of those BBQ grills that we have. I know that we had discussed something about them going and replacing some of the ones that are deteriorating.
usually what happens is DPW takes kind of a look at them in the spring, and if they need parts replaced or things like that, they let me know, and then we decide how many of them we're going to do.
Consider taking some of them out.
I don't think they would take them out unless they were really damaged, and just take it out and not replace it.
Right.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah, I think
some-
that would definitely be an option.
Yeah, because it seems like we have quite a few of them.
Yeah.
And
When I asked the
they're
park.
not really utilized,
when I
and they
talked-
would know more.
Yeah, when I talked to the park attendants about it, it's surprising how many of them are used. I wouldn't have thought that, because they actually asked for a special shovel to try to clear the ashes out of them and stuff. So I know,
The ones closest to the drive, where the parking is and that,
Mm-hmm.
those get used a lot. But the ones deeper into the park,
not so much.
not so much. I just
Yeah.
wonder if there was any way to, instead of buying parts, if the
Oh,
ones
yeah.
that weren't used, the ones that deteriorate, to just
Yeah,
swap them out.
just slowly eliminate some of them
some,
in there.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility. I'll talk to the DPW director, Matt, about that.
Is there any way we can keep an eye on how many are being used and when?
I mean, I think I can ask, once the park attendants are there, I can ask them during the hours that they're there to kind of make a mental note.
Where the ones are being used.
Yeah, which
where
ones are,
they're
and they
at,
should be
which
able to
ones
tell
weren't.
that too by how they have to clean them out.
Right,
So obviously the ones by the pavilion get used a
Yeah, the
lot.
most.
right.
Yeah. But like you said, the ones throughout the middle of the park, probably not as much.
Yeah, deep into the park.
But yeah, especially events like the 4th of July, they were always busy. I noticed that every single one was being used during the day. And you're like, okay, but is it being
Just
used
once
the
a
rest
year.
of the year?
Yeah. Yeah, I would tend to agree with you that we probably don't need to replace all of them if they start to go bad.
Right.
I wouldn't certainly go in and start pulling them out until they're just not usable anymore, but,
Right. Just a thought.
yeah, no, that's a good observation. Okay. All right, public comment? We have nobody
No.
out there, so.
Nope, not today.
So I would say that, what can we do?
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
All right.